Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations with Curtis. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Paul Morgan Stetler and I am the host of this channel. And this is by far the the most people we have had on a live stream so far. And I think I know why. But thank you so much for being here. It's very exciting to be able to talk to our guest again today. And it was very generous of him to spend, take some more time out of his day to do this. So we'll bring out Noah in just a little bit, but I thought I would just take a moment for those of you who are new, who haven't really been keeping up with our little channel, I thought I would just tell you who we are and what we do. As I said, my name's Paul, and back in 1996, I was the lead actor in A Puzzle of Flesh, Phantasmagoria 2. I was an actor, full-time actor back in the day, living in Seattle. And this was a huge gig for someone right out of graduate school. And I had a great time making it. The game didn't really, unfortunately, didn't do much for my career. And then since the FMV world kind of didn't last much longer after that, I went on, didn't think much about it. But 12 years later, in 2008, when YouTube was kind of taking off, the game started to find some popularity, and then especially because of Noah's playthrough, he introduced this game to thousands and thousands of people around the world, and then the game really found a whole new audience of people loving it, and so that was pretty cool. And then 14 years later, last year, 2021, was the 25th anniversary of the making of the game. So I was bored. I couldn't do any of the work that I do, which is in front of live audiences. So I ended up doing a little oral history project where I reached out to a bunch of people from the game who made the game, the actors, director, Gary Spinrad, who did the music, and just kind of put together this really cool oral history project for the 25th anniversary. And that just has turned into a fun, I thought that was going to be it, but then we had a great group of fans. We realized I had never played the game before, so I did my own playthrough, reached out to Victoria Morcell Hemmingson, who was the lead actress in the first Phantasmagoria, and we did a playthrough of her game. She now she's joining me every Wednesday, and we're playing all kinds of fun old retro games. So we're having a great time, and then beyond that, I'm also interviewing a lot of people in the gaming industry, people who make games, influencers like Noah. And so I think the reason we're all here today is because you guys got a chance to see the interview I did with him a few weeks ago. And like I said, we're a small channel, so we have, we're lucky if we get couple thousand views. Well, this one was huge for us. We, at last count, we had 36,000 views of our interview. Thank you so much, Critical Moment. We'll talk a little bit about tips in a minute, but thank you. You're one of our regular our fans, and I appreciate you. I appreciate the donation. But it was a great conversation. We had a lot of fun, and it's crazy the amount of support and positive energy that has come out of this. And so I'm excited to bring Noah back. He's agreed to do a live Q&A today, so we'll be taking questions from the chat. And then we'll be watching some curated scenes from his Let's Play of Phantasmagoria 2 as well. So we'll have fun watching his stream and seeing his reactions to his earlier comments and my reactions as well. But before we do that, I just want to share with you that we would love for you to know more about Conversations with Curtis. I have a partner. His name is Daniel Albu. He is an incredible game designer, just an incredible genius mind, and he has created a game on our website. It's called Phantasmagoria. Let's see, it's right here. Oh, wrong one. Well, I guess I lost it here. Where did it go? There it is. Oh, doesn't matter. It's called Phantasmagoria Dimension Next. And it is a interactive fan game. He's taken all kinds of cool scenes from the actual game, and we've incorporated stuff from Conversations with Curtis, and we've added Patreon members. As a Patreon member, you're able to write an email to Curtis or send him a voicemail, or even get your own cubicle, depending on the tier that you show up. What he's done is nothing short of brilliant, and I want to show a short trailer of this Phantasmagoria Dimension Next, so you guys can get a little sense of it. And after the stream today, please go check it out for yourself. It's a lot of fun. So let me show you this trailer really quick, and then we'll come back and we'll get going. Here we go. Yeah, so that's that. It's pretty awesome, and it's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. The only reason that Daniel and I do this, that we're a two-person operation, and this is a labor of love, and we both work full-time jobs and have families and all that stuff, so we put as much time into this as we possibly can, and the only way we're able to really make this work is through the support of our Patreon donors. And just very quickly, I want to pay tribute to our top donors right now. These are our $10 and above donors. If it wasn't for these guys, we would not be able to put in this time. So thank you all, especially our top donor, Maleka and Francois, Robbie, Joseph, and Moffat Reborn, for all the stuff that you do. And if you are in a position to help out and want to join us on Patreon, we have a lot of fun there, and we would love to have you join us so that we can continue to grow and get more people. And meanwhile, please, you can always help just by subscribing and liking and all that stuff. So, and then finally, we do have take donations. So if you are inclined to give a little donation today for this stream, we will take anything. We do find that the YouTube Super Chat takes 50% that's 50% of your money. It does not go to us, it goes to them. So we have been using this coffee.com. They give us 90%. So the thing to do is to just go straight to coffee.com/CWC. And if you'd like to give a little something, that would help us as well. And these are our top 7 donors over the last 30 days: James Jenkins, Joseph Austin, Moffat Reborn, Swex, Do, YT Wander, and Clement Jove. So thank you guys for your previous donations and help. All right, that's all the commercials I'm going to do for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the reason, the guest, and the reason you're all here. So let me do that right now. Noah Antwiler, otherwise known as TheSpoonyOne, is the YouTube sensation behind the Spoonie Experiment, a variety of video series featuring live stream gaming, let's play videos, film and game reviews, and vlogs. His self-titled channel has earned him a respectable, I stole this from the internet, a respectable following of more than 115,000 subscribers. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to none other than Noah Antwiler. Where are you, Noah?
I heard that, Curtis, and thank you so much for the kind words.
How you doing, man?
Doing okay.
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
Yeah. So what's been going on since our chat? How's life?
Oh, it's everything's okay. I'm just preparing for Twitter's eventual meltdown. Just brace yourselves, everybody, because it's gonna be a rough one, I think.
Yeah, I think it already is, isn't it? It seems like. Have you noticed a huge change just in your stratosphere yet?
There's a sense of inevitability, but mainly a sense that I don't want to dwell on it too much, but like man, I can't even conceive of how much money Elon Musk spent on this thing. Like you picture Joker piles of money, and I don't even think you could set it on fire that fast. The way he's
You
he's
know,
he's tanked the whole business.
I
But
read something. I read something once about Jeff Bezos, and of course, it applies to him too. That if you made, I forgot the numbers, but if you made $200,000 a day, every day since the day Jesus Christ was born, you still wouldn't have as much money as Elon Musk has right now.
well, here's another one that I heard was, um, if Elon Musk had just paid every one of Twitter's employees $5 million to quit, it would have cost him less money, and he'd still have $8 billion left over.
Oh, that's great. Well, listen, thank you. I'm seeing some tips coming in. I appreciate that. So what we are not doing is we're not activating the automated response. And so what we will do is, as time goes on, I'm Daniel's going to compile some of these comments, and I will read them as we go. But yeah, so I appreciate you coming back. I'm not sure if you are someone who looks at comments or checks the numbers, but did you get any sense of how our interview went over with folks, or how did you feel about it?
I got a lot of really great feedback. Just people. I mean, obviously, I haven't been on camera in a long time, so it was great to see people were even still curious about me. So but I got nothing but good feedback.
Yeah.
Which
And
was really great to
how do you feel about kind of, I guess this is camera appearance number 2. How are you feeling about getting back out here like this?
I rarely get stage fright.
You do
It's
or you
not
don't?
something I don't.
Okay.
Normally, but it's been so long that yeah, I've been getting nervous. Just wondering if I can still turn the public persona on. You know what I mean? It's
Totally. And do you feel like the public, because, here's what I think is that, when I came back, when I decided to do this, there's a part of me that felt like, really, am I going to just lean on this thing that I did 26 years ago? Is that where I'm at right now, where I'm going to spend time, milking this one thing I did? It felt like a little bit of a reverting back. But what surprised me is how much it has opened me up to new things that I never expected. That I'm able to bring who I am now to this, and to talking to you, and to talking to people, and to playing games, which I never did before, and having fun doing that. So, I wonder if do you feel the sense of like having to do that? Let's say next time you produce something, are you excited about bringing who you are now to this, or do you feel this sense of like having to kind of recreate what you used to do?
I think that's actually going to be one of the challenges, because when I started off, the show was mainly about kind of showing everyone else what kind of formed me as a child. Kind of made me the person I am now. And I kind of did that with all the reviews that I did. I kind of went through all those things, those really strange, nerdy things that helped turn me into the person I am now. And it's been so long that there's another critic named the Nostalgia Critic who went through a similar crisis, I think, to where he kind of ran through all the things he was nostalgic about.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he kind of had this problem: do I end the character? Do I keep going? And I kind of ran into that myself, where I kind of talked about all the movies and all the games that I remember growing up that I wanted to talk about. So what now?
Yeah, yeah. That's funny, because someone who is the nostalgia guy, you can only be nostalgic about so many things, right? You're going to eventually run out of unless you just keep going back to it.
So what am I curious about now? And that was actually a really difficult question. What am I into now? Or am I just gonna dwell and kind of stay stuck? I'm kind of gonna have it both ways. Do I stay stuck this permanent man child that that I have been, and I think the answer to both questions is yes, I can do both. Um, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Now you've been doing a lot of live streaming of games, and so are you finding? Is there a way? I mean, are you finding new material in these games that you're now playing?
It's that's interesting because yeah, I try to do a bunch of horror games, like indie horror games that were made by non-mainstream um, developers, and I ran into some really interesting games that I would have never played otherwise. Um, Diamonds in the rough, you know what I mean? There's a game by developer named Kitty Horror Show called Anatomy, which became one of my favorite horror games of all time. Um, so yeah, the live streaming, just talking to people and seeing what they're interested in and discovering what I'm interested in terms of gaming, because like I said, I used to play nothing but kind of old Nintendo games, old NES games, and going right up to the kind of the original PlayStation. New games nowadays, I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm relatively inexperienced when it comes to new games, discovering what I like, because the games I used to play, like graphic adventure games and stuff like that, they don't really make those anymore. They do, but they don't make them like they used to.
Right. Right.
And with
Exactly.
the FMV games, like the ones you do, they definitely do not make them like they used to anymore. With rare exceptions, there's I think you've seen contradictions and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, which we talked
But
a little bit about, but yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's not quite FMV, right? It's a little bit more,
it's not the same type of adventure game.
yeah,
Um, and I just don't know if I don't want to say they can't make them like that today, but it was the era of gaming that you were in was such a fascinating experiment that that's why I liked Phantasmagoria 2 so much. Was it's like this time capsule into such a strange and fantastic world of gaming that otherwise people wouldn't know about.
yeah, yeah, and well, I want to. We're going to get into that, and we're going to get a chance to read, watch some of your stuff. Let me just real quickly comments from. Just want to make sure we're getting some kindness from folks, but I want to make sure. So before I do that, I do want to just go back a little bit to our interview, and I wanted to share with you some of the comments that we got. I think I think what's stunning is, and you said this a little bit in our interview. You're in your room, you're doing your thing. You're it's an isolated environment. And that there are numbers out there. I mean, I'm seeing the chat just kind of go crazy right now. It's hard to, I can't focus on that while I'm talking to you. But it loses perspective. But then when I see some of these comments, and I just want to share with you some things that makes you, I think that will give you a sense of like how much, how much impact that you have had along the way. So it's gonna be a little. If I could cue some music, I would cue some. But anyways, the first one was something that so many people commented on. Just it's so good to see you again. People are just so happy to see you and see you seem like you're doing well. See you smile and see you having a good time. So that was the first one. Then I knew that would happen. Let me just make sure. Oh no, let's do that, and then we'll turn that off and turn this back on. And then the next one is Spoonie is one of the best storytellers on the internet. His Counter Monkey series was awesome. So not being someone who knows anything that you've done outside of the Phantaz 2, tell me a little bit about Counter Monkey. What was that?
Okay, Counter Monkey. I used to work at a game store, as in kind of a bookstore, kind of that would sell board games, but we'd also sell like Magic the Gathering cards and RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons. So I used to play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, as a teenager, and in my 20s and stuff like that. So at the store, we all had stories. This Dungeons and Dragons is this epic storytelling game people sit around and they tell these, these Lord of the Rings type stories and stuff like that. But the thing is, they don't play out like Lord of the Rings because it's normal people involved. They get crazy, all these stories. But everyone's got all these such crazy, funny stories, myself included, but they all love to tell them. And so we used to call the people who would do nothing but kind of hang on the counter and
Okay.
tell
All
the
right.
board clerk all the stories, counter monkeys.
Gotcha.
Or at least that's what I used to call them. So counter monkey is essentially just me telling stories, either talking about old games that I used to play, old groups that I used to have, and talking about the RPGs that I used to play uh, up till this point. Um, just all the weird, quirky stuff that goes on with them, and
So it was just simply you telling stories. You were just talking about all the stuff that you had
yeah,
done. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, and it's essentially how Lord of the Rings could have gone if everything was always a disaster. Because the funniest stories are always the ones where everything goes catastrophically wrong. And so that's what I always found funny about Counter Monkey was they tell me like I used to listen to Counter Monkey and it got me into role playing games. It got me into playing D&D. And at first my reaction was, why? All the stories I tell are terrible. Everything goes wrong, everyone dies and stuff like that. But they're like, yeah, but it's all of us in a group together having this fun experience
That's
and
exactly
being
it.
on being on this catastrophic experience together and having a few laughs. And so that's what it was.
That's great. You know, your output. And I mean, it really is kind of stunning how many different genres you were playing around with. Let's see. Here's another one that I wanted to comment here. Just wanted to leave this here in case Spoonie gets to read it. Your speech about what a paladin is got me through. That's it. That's all. Thanks. So tell me about what's the paladin speech and how did that come about?
The paladin thing was I made an entire video series leading up to okay. Ultima 9
Okay.
is this game. It's the 9th game in a series.
Uh-oh. Hold on a second. I'm getting some issues with sound. Let me see why. Before you go on.
Did I do something?
No, it's OBS is what it is. Noah has an echo.
It's
Why would Noah have an
probably
echo?
my speakers.
He sounds fine on my end. I don't see anything on OBS that is. I could turn him down a little bit. Maybe that's it. Oh no, let's not do that. Man, this is where my lack of. Let's try this.
I wish I could help. I don't. I'm relatively new at
No,
OBS myself.
this is my own personal hell. No, you don't have to be a part of that. All right, well, let's just keep on going. Let me know maybe an extra sound mixer. Daniel's trying to help me out here.
Sure.
Well, let's see.
I could keep telling the story while you work this out.
keep telling the story. That's perfect. Yeah, let's do that.
It's the 9th game in the series, and the main character in the game asks an extraordinarily dumb question of the king, Lord British. He asks, "What's a paladin?" And to put that in better context, that would be like in the very last movie of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker asking, "What's a Jedi?" It's something that from the beginning he should have known what it was.
Okay, right.
To get to that point, I had to essentially make like 11 videos just to explain that joke up to the point in the last video where I eventually explain literally what a paladin was. And
Oh, fun.
that's the main joke. It's kind of an inside joke that took me 11 videos to make.
And did you have that in? At what point did you have to work backwards to get to that place, right? Because you weren't starting with that, were you?
Well, it was one of the most aggravating. It was one of the moments that made me angriest in gaming because I was a longtime fan of this series, and all of a sudden it was like the writer, the person who made it, and I know he does care, but it was almost like he didn't care when he wrote it, you know. But that was one of those stories I wanted to tell was what was the angriest a game has ever made you. And I wanted to make a video about that, but to explain why it made me so mad, I realized I had to go back and cover every single game that came before it and why they were so great. So, in a way, there was a series that's very unlike what I would normally do, in that the Ultima series is talking about games that I really like. Normally, when I do when I do critic videos when I do game or movie reviews, it's always about stuff that's really, really bad or really
Right,
terrible,
right, right.
because it's hard to make fun of something that you like
Yeah.
sometimes if it's really good, you know. Um, but I think I made an exception with Phantasmagoria 2. I really like Phantasmagoria 2, and I made fun of it. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And okay, I think we fixed the problem. It looks like for whatever reason the comments, because I was showing them. Oh, I'm not even showing them to you. Sorry about that. But
Yeah,
I'll show them there. Let me read the next one. I remember the column in the. This is Wide and Nerdy writes. I remember the column in the comic book that Spoony wrote. I have been a fan that long.
Yeah, if you look here, you can barely see it.
Oh,
But these are panels.
we're not cropped. I can
Oh,
see it on Zoom, but I can't see it on that. Yeah.
on my wall, I've got cutouts of some of the comics that I wrote for. And that this was a long time ago when I was in college, when I was doing written reviews of. This was back when the Phantom Menace came out. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace came out, and I think that was my first ever written review. Was I was hating Star Wars before hating Star Wars was cool.
Wait, tell me why did you hate Star? Because I'm not a big Star
Phantom
Wars.
Menace?
Oh, just in general, do you like all the Star Wars
Oh, I
movies?
love Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but it was one of those things where the Phantom Menace came out and I hated it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing was, at the time, it's kind of universally accepted now that the Phantom Menace is not that good. But at the time when it came out, everyone really liked it. I think it was kind of one of those things where everyone was just shocked.
Emperor has no clothes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to like it, right?
And so that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do. Was when I started writing the comic book reviews. Was I wrote this review for the Phantom Menace, and I got hate mail like crazy. Like the comic got hate mail, and I was really devastated by
The
this.
comic
Like,
did.
oh my God,
God.
they hate what I do. Oh no. And so I talked to the guy who wrote the comic. I was like, I am so sorry. I don't want your comic to get hate mail. He's like, are you kidding? People are getting invested in the comic book like they've never have before. Like people are buying the comic just to read what you said. And it's people are interested. They're actually flipping to different parts of the comic book. This is great. So they are like, he's like, keep doing what you're doing. Don't write stuff just to inflame people.
This was the beginning of you taking on a role of of being able to take on.
You got this reaction, this emotional reaction, and people were laughing. It was I was doing it not just to make people mad, but to make people laugh.
Do you have how many of these comics did you make?
Oh, I did it for about 2 years. So,
have you ever thought about like releasing them in any way, or is it out? Is it something people could get access to?
I could try. I would actually need to check with the comic book, the guy who does the comic book, to see if it's legal. I can't imagine you'd have that much of a problem with it, but
I think it would be a blast. I think people would love to see some of the early work.
That's going back so far. I'd be embarrassed.
All right, the next one. This is great. Let's get to the next one here. Let's see. Ultima Retrospective and SWAT 4 reviews are two of the most important pieces of media I have ever consumed.
SWAT 4 is one of those. That's one of the Let's Plays I did that you probably have not seen, but that was the other really big Let's Play that I did next to Phantasmagoria, I think. And SWAT 4 is such. There are no other games like it. In that it's a police procedural game where you play a SWAT team.
Is it a first-person shooter thing, or
yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful. It's procedural, so you can't just shoot people who have surrendered and stuff like that.
Okay, I did see a video. They keep telling you to get in line, right? They keep telling you that
they
you
say you're in my way, sir. You're standing in my spot. And that's the thing about the game, is it's so janky. It's a really honestly pretty terrible game, but it's so challenging, and yet it's it occupies this niche where there are no other games like it except for one, and it's still in early access. It's called Ready or Not. But it's actually shocking if you try to look for a police procedural game where you have to follow the rules, and be a good guy. You have to be a cop. You have to you have to arrest people, not just assassinate them or execute them and stuff like that. It's rare to find a shooter that follows the rules, so to speak, of being a police officer.
Yeah, that's great.
And so watching me struggle with this really janky game and being constantly told by the glitchy AI that you're standing in my spot, or what was really aggravating was they can't throw grenades at all. So when you tell them to throw a flashbang into a room, they'll throw it like right into the wall in front of them, drop it at their feet, and everyone gets flashbanged and it blinds everybody and stuff like that. Just watching me struggle through this game, fighting against the game to play it, was so funny.
Yeah.
And
Someone just wrote, Vaughn Lauren just wrote in the chat, one of the best callbacks ever was when Spoonie realizes that the same voice actor for Reynolds from SWAT 4 is in that Final Fantasy game too.
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah. I forget who it was. Was it Titus, or was it the person in the comments will know. Was it Titus or Snow or something like that?
But knowing that it was the same guy, it was great. Awesome. Well, let's see. Other things that people talked about in these comments were just about how much influence your critical way of looking at things informed them, and how, like, many people were like just having fun playing their game as the way they did, and someone's printing something. And that they're able to look at things with a different eye. And so Meow80 writes, I'm in my early 30s now, and Spoonio's videos were formative for me during adolescence. Some of his jokes are simply engraved in my brain. Even had a hamster named Blob after Curtis's rat. But yeah, I'm getting that, and just other moments of like, great to hear from Spoonie, and speaking so candidly. He was one of my biggest influences and reasons why I started doing stuff. So what a cool thing to know that, that again, what you've been doing for.
And I love hearing comments like that, because it's, like I said, it's so rare to get actual feedback from people. It's easy to see fans online as nothing but just like a big number, like subscriber count and view count and stuff like that. It's easy to forget that they're people.
Yeah.
And just to get that kind of one-on-one feedback, to see how you've personally impacted people is strange and remarkable and wonderful. I love it. So.
Well, it's a common theme, Noah, and I'll read another one. There's so many, and I'm skipping through them. But Nova writes, I can hardly put into words how this makes me feel. Spoonie and his stuff brought me so much joy, and it's no exaggeration when I say he defined a certain period of me and my internet life. Phantas 2 was one of his most beloved videos to watch, so to see you reach out to Spoonie hits me hard in the feels. So
that's great.
Yeah, some good stuff. And also just in general, when you started talking about, this desire to maybe, do some reviews again, and kind of ramping up, and you talked about the Dungeons and Dragons movie and stuff, and people got very excited about that. But what really I found very touching were people saying to take your time. So Taro Navala writes, no, just take it one step at a time. Take your time, no pressure. You're the best YouTuber that's ever been. And hearing that you are getting better is so nice. And you saying that you're going to make reviews again was really good news. And that's been a common theme, is that people just want you to be in a good place. And if that ultimately leads to more content that we can watch, then all the better. But I think that people are rooting for you as a person, and knowing.
I think along the way I kind of forgotten about that. It's easy to lose track of that, because oftentimes it's always just what's next, and you lose track of people want you to be okay as well, because otherwise you're not the same person. And it's a lot of the progress of getting back to where I am is just trying to figure out, what my voice is, like I said, discovering what I want to talk about, who I am and stuff like that. So and I think that may seem cheesy, and it may seem um, maybe obvious to say, but it's not, because one thing I've always prided myself on is authenticity. Um, when you see me on screen, you know that that's really me. It's me giving my honest opinion. Maybe a little exaggerated, but I'm never lying to people when it comes to my opinion on stuff. Uh, but I always wanted to. Pretty much everything I've ever done a video on, I have some kind of personal attachment to, and that's what I always wanted to make sure people got carried. What got carried across in my videos was, the Ultima series and Phantasmagoria. I grew up with these. I love these things, and that's what I wanted to share these things with people and have, if people would play them and they'd like it too.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like to see people, when they come and say that, you helped me discover stuff that I would never have seen before. That's what's really special to me. And I think trying to find that personal connection to stuff that I want to bring to people now, that's been the big challenge, but it's also something that's worth taking your time with.
It is. And I think that it really comes down to, you have, your voice is something that people connect with, the way that you look at things, the way that you dissect things. And so I don't know if it's about thinking about what people might want to see. I really think it's simply, if you simply
Exactly.
wanted to, what's the last thing that just made you laugh at how ridiculous it is? And that's
Exactly.
all you need to share with us, because you're going to have an audience that wants to hear that, because they're with you,
Yeah.
We want to get into some Q&A on I've got some questions from my patrons. We'll get some Q&A from the chat, but before that, I want to share maybe two little comments that kind of change the subject just a teeny bit. You and I talked a little bit about this, but Nexirac writes, way back when, I was saddened when Spoonie dropped off from the online space, and as I had thoroughly enjoyed his content. Working in mental health now, I can understand to a small degree what he must have been going through. Recovery is always possible, and it's amazing to see him on here and say he wants to get back to it, knowing the goal. The goal is the most important step. And there's other really wonderful comments talking about mental health journeys, many people sharing their own struggles. And I just thought, if there's anything that you wanted to share with us regarding that and your journey and struggle to get to where you are right now.
I think the biggest thing to remember is kindness. Everyone's hurting out there. Some people are better at hiding it than others. But the most important thing is just to be kind to people that you talk to and the people that you meet, and people who are obviously struggling, is just remember to be kind. And that goes so far, is just patience. And,
kindness and patience.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's just to be patient and to be kind and to understand that people are hurting out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. All right. Well, I'm gonna shift over, and we're gonna get into some questions. I'm gonna start with got a bunch of questions from my group of patrons, so they get first dibs. Let's see. Chris Pecan says, "I'm not that great with. What has it been like being back on camera? Do you have any expectations, negative or positive, beforehand? The first talk you had with Paul was so wholesome, and it made me really happy. We've missed you."
Expectations. There's a lot of self-consciousness in the way I look and stuff like that. It's been so long since, I'm getting to be an old man.
It's weird to have people say that they were like, you influenced them when they were kids, right? To have that.
I know. Oh my God. I remember meeting somebody at a convention and she was like, I remember watching you when I was 11. And I'm like, how old are you now, if I can ask? And she's like 30 now. I'm like, she's in her 20s. And I'm like, oh my God, it's been like 18 years.
Well, I got you beat. I've got the same thing. People say they watched my game when they were teenagers. Unfortunately, now they're in their mid to late 40s. So, I've got you. But
I'm in my 40s.
So, Derek Rucker says, what ending would you give to the casket match between Undertaker and Yokozuna that was started on the back of the Know Your Role D20 rule book. I hope you know what he's talking about. I sure don't.
Give me a second.
Ah,
I honestly don't.
oh my goodness.
I've got it. I may have to look this up because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ah,
What ending would I have given it? This is a role playing game based on the WWE.
oh, wow. Okay.
In case you ever wanted to role play Dungeons and Dragons style a wrestling match.
Oh man. Well, I don't know
have
if we can
never
get
played
that. I
that
don't know
in
if we can get too into the weeds on that. I've got too many questions to.
Go on. That's all right.
Yeah. Since you're thinking of Zach asks, since you're thinking of doing a video on that D&D Book of Vile Darkness movie, would you also do a follow-up with the forthcoming major studio D&D film? Looks like it could be ripe for the plucking.
That's actually why I brought up D&D 3 was there's a new D&D movie coming out. I'm excited to see it. I hope you are too. everyone who's a D&D fan. I think the big thing is to go into it with I don't want to say realistic expectations, but to go into it not I think with the first D&D movie people didn't know what to expect. And like faithfulness to the game and stuff like that. I don't know if you can necessarily expect a really good movie to be I'm rambling here. I don't know, but yes,
One will leave if you
I'm
do the
excited
one.
to see where it goes.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
excited to see where it goes because it's a fresh take on it with new actors, and it can only go up from here.
Really sounds like from the third one. It sounds like there's no way it can get worse.
Honestly, the first one is just awful. They're all not very good, but the first one is just terrible. In the second movie, there's again, this may mean nothing to you as a D&D if you haven't played D&D, but the second movie has this moment where they're about to walk into a room and the thief stops the fighter before going in and is like, hang on a second, I'm going to search for traps, which is what a thief in D&D would do. And I was so happy. The movie was terrible, but the thief actually did something a thief would do in D&D, and I was so happy that they actually did something D&D-ish. Anyway.
One of the writers finally actually, used the game to further the story.
And the thief found a trap and disarmed it, and it was something that I recognized from the game, and it made me so happy. And in that, at least I knew that the person who wrote it had at least cracked the book open at least once, which is something I can't say for the first movie.
Right. Let's see. Critical moment. A longtime fan. Always loved your movie reviews, especially the likes of Rebuary. While D&D is a big interest, do you see yourself covering other genres like that again? I guess people are also saying how much they love your simpler formats.
Yes, and those when I started doing reviews, I did video games and I did some movies. And February, which you mentioned, is one of my favorite movie stars of all time. Is a guy named Reb Brown, who was the original Captain America way back when.
Okay, yeah.
Like either late 70s or early 80s. He was the very first Captain America. And I did a series of basically every movie he's ever done. Not every movie, strictly speaking, but most of the big ones where he's had a starring role. And they're all endearing in their own way. Most of the times they're not that good, but he gives a singular performance in every one. He's definitely one of those actors who.
So you would just follow the movies that he was in and kind of
and every one of them had something new to offer, something wonderful that's worth remembering, and that for movies that's special. I can say I've seen a lot of good movies, and I can say I've seen a lot of bad movies, but when I can look at a movie and say that's something I've never seen before. That's something special. It's worth remembering, and Reb Brown always brought that for me.
Oh, that's great. Let's see. TB, do you think you'll wrap up the ongoing story arc you were building with the reviews, or is that something you're comfortable leaving in the past?
That's what got me into trouble. When I was talking about going back to basics, that's what got me into trouble. Was I started going way and way bigger with the kind of the storyline going, and this kind of this little meta plot that stretched between the reviews. That kept getting bigger and bigger to the point where I was actually flying actors in, friends of mine,
Oh
to
man.
to play various characters, and they were great. The stuff I did there was great, but it took so much time. It
Yeah.
took so much effort and editing and stuff like that. It slowed me down so much.
Yeah,
And
don't do that
I
now. Yeah, wait for it. I don't think that's not where you
um
start, right?
yeah, and the thing is, that's not what people were tuning in for, not originally.
Yeah.
Um, so I think one day I may get back to it, but I think for the next review, it's just going to be me talking about a movie.
Good.
Um,
Good. Emily Hargis Wells, D&D has been a huge boost in popularity lately. Have you watched shows like Critical Role, and if so, what did you like about them?
I haven't. Honestly, I haven't watched much in the ways of online content. When it comes to that, I've watched a few other movie reviews like Red Letter Media and stuff like that, but when it comes to Critical Role, not really. I think it was there's a good deal of envy because Critical Role just from and oh, I forget what other show there is, but it's kind of the show I always wanted to put on. So I'm actually rather envious of the format. Being able to get people together around a table on a really cool set,
Yeah,
playing Dungeons and Dragons or an RPG, and having all these various little camera angles and having everything very dramatic and very well produced. That's the show I always wanted to put on.
that sounds like
So
Is that what this is? Is that what this is
I
purporting to be?
believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. It's kind of a like a made for TV produced level
Uh,
D&D session.
Sounds great. Sounds like it could be great. It also
And
could
it
be
is, well,
horrible.
that's the thing is I hear that it's totally great, but it's one of those rabbit holes where if I get stuck in it, I may never do anything again if I just keep, you know, I'm actually morbidly curious now. I want to see it because I've heard that it's great. Yeah.
All right. A couple, let's see, one more. Right Said Brett says, "Hi Spoonie, what were some of your favorite games of 2022 and what was perhaps the worst game which you played this last year?"
Um, I don't know. I'm bad with years, so I don't know what the best and worst game right now would be. I just started playing God of War Ragnarok, and I like that one a lot, although I'm terrible at it. Um, this is probably not a 2022 game, and a lot of people are crapping on it, but there's a game called Hunt Down the Freeman. It is just horrible. I'm pretty sure that's not 2022, but it's one of the worst games that I've ever seen.
Hunt Down the Freeman?
Yeah, it's you're here Half-Life.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a kind of a spin-off of Half-Life. I don't even think it's an official sequel, but it's just bad.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. I don't know.
No, that's great.
I'll think about it and come back to it.
No worries. Let's see. Don't Dream It's Over on my Discord channel asks, would you be interested in tackling the first Phantasmagoria or the Gabriel Knight series? He thinks I think his FMV Hell series would really take off.
The first Phantasmagoria, I actually did start doing a Let's Play of that, and I don't know what stopped me. It starts off slow, but so does Phantasmagoria too, so that's not much of an excuse.
Yeah, it might be worth looking at again at some point.
It might be worth looking at again.
But it's
Yeah.
funny because it's funny because as I'm playing games for the very first time, and Daniel being a lover of retro games, he's really good at sort of guiding me through and keeping me going. And most of our audience is retro, they love those games. But so everything's new to me, but there is a part of me that's like, well, what's the new stuff? I mean, I'm playing all these older games, which is really great, but I wonder if you're more curious about what's happening now as opposed to going back to the older stuff.
I am, and I've started playing a few games. One of the most recent live streams I did was oh god, why can't I remember now? There's a game called The Shapeshifting Detective.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about that. Yeah.
One that I can't remember the title. Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe.
Oh, I've heard of this company. The guy, DeVecchi Studios, I think is the name of the people. Yeah.
Yes. There's a game I'm looking at now called Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus.
I've heard good things about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But when I started saying they don't make them like that anymore, that's one of the few companies that's actually doing full motion video games, the stuff like Contradictions and stuff like that, which I loved. I friggin' love Contradictions.
Yeah. I did too.
And the guy who did Jenks in Contradictions is also in the Shapeshifting Detective, which is why I'm excited to play that one as well.
Yeah, I ended up. He came and we were playing Contradiction, and
Oh yeah,
and Victoria, the gal who, the actress who played Adrian in Phantasmagoria, she's been joining me once a week. We're playing some of these games, and so we were playing that, but she couldn't show up one day. So we reached out to I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Rupert, yeah, Rupert. Anyways, but yeah, he joined me, and he got to play some of his own game. It was hilarious because it's like any classic actor, they can't get past their own performance. He was just constantly like going, oh, I can't believe I did that. So we really didn't get far into the game because he was just he's a funny guy.
Christopher
Neat.
Plummer once said that film is what I do when I'm not acting.
That makes a lot of sense. I get it.
If you saw Star Trek V, I think you'd understand.
Well, let's see. This Connor guy writes, not a question, but I thought of this today. I shared your RoboWar review with one of my friends, a U.S. Marine, and because of it, he ended up calling his squad the BAMs.
The BAMs?
I'm sure he'll know what this is in reference to.
Yeah, okay. RoboWar is a Reb Brown movie. One of that guy I mentioned before. It's essentially a ripoff of Predator. And the name of his group is the BAMs. And to understand what that means, you have to understand that this is RoboWar is an Italian knockoff of Predator. So it was not. I don't think the person who wrote it was English was not their first language. So BAM stands for big ass motherfuckers. And not badass, big ass.
Big ass. And so that's what he calls.
If your Marine friend, to think there was an actual U.S. Marine platoon or group, company, whatever, going around calling themselves the big ass mofos, I
thanks to you,
it would strike fear into the hearts of my enemies. I know that.
A couple more questions and then we'll open it up to the chat. So Winfrey writes, does it get harder to find something that you want to do? Here she gets into a couple different things. How hard is it to put together one of your videos? Is there one that you are extremely pleased with? I like that question about, we're looking at what, certainly as I've been pouring through some of the Phantas material that you did and our conversation prior, it is fascinating to me how much time and effort, it doesn't look like it, but I know how much it takes to make something look easy.
That's one of the better compliments you can give me is that it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
To edit in such a way that it makes it look easy.
Can you talk us through your system? How do you take a game? What you
let's say I have a game. Well, let's talk about a movie more like a movie is easier. The first thing I do is if I decide I'm going to review the movie, I go through the movie with a remote in my hand and a laptop on my lap. And to make things easier in editing, whenever something happens, something of note or something I want to make a joke about, I'll pause it, make a note of the time code in my notes, and make a comment next to the time code. So by the end of the movie, I'll have like 8 pages of time codes of stuff that happens in the movie, jokes I want to make. And I do that because let's say I reference something in the movie, I have to go to the movie and play that clip, for instance. That's not easy because you're talking about 95 minutes to even maybe 2.5 hours of footage that you have to go through every time you talk about something to find 4 seconds of material in 2 hours of footage. That adds up to a lot of time searching for footage in a movie. So that's why I have the time codes written down in kind of excruciating detail, because it takes a long time to go through a movie that way, but it takes an even longer time to go through a movie without any kind of notes, looking for, may the force be with you always, looking for that one little tiny sound clip in the entire footage of Star Wars. It's really hard. So that's the first step is making kind of exhaustive notes on the movie and everything that I want to talk about. Then I write the script, then I shoot, then I edit. Yeah.
But still, that's you skipped ahead the shooting and the editing. That in itself is a time painstaking process in
Right,
both of those cases. Yeah.
writing and editing is the longest process by far.
Okay.
Shooting doesn't take me that long because
By that time,
to
you've kind of almost been rehearsing along the way as you're writing, right?
yeah, and that's the thing is I'd have to show you my scripts to, and I can't do that now, but I'd have to show you my scripts to. What I do is I write in my own voice. If that may not make sense to you, but basically, if it seems like I'm ad-libbing or something like that in my reviews, or if I stutter or stammer or go back over my sentences in my reviews, I'm really not. Pretty much everything I say in my reviews is pretty much written in my own voice. So I'm kind of talking to myself as I write the scripts.
Yeah, that's
And
great, man.
so yeah, in a way, it is in kind of a way a rehearsal.
All the more reason why people comment about just how, you know, this, like we said, this making something look easy takes a lot of work, and clearly what you've done, you know, people realize it. You know, they might feel like at the end of the day, they might feel like you're just riffing and it's just all coming like that. But however, yeah.
With the Phantasmagoria as well, I didn't script Phantasmagoria's videos, and at first I wasn't going over. I think we talked about this very briefly. Was the first bits of the Phantasmagoria 2 Let's Play were pretty much strictly improv.
Yeah.
But later on, I would go back through it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't scripted, but it wasn't entirely improv either.
Yeah, it gets
So,
it's really fun to watch because it just gets more and more detailed as it goes. It seems like we're watching you discover the gold mine. Like you're at first like, you know, okay, I'm in this cave.
to an
And
extent, you are.
What's
To an
that?
extent, you are.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there is the improv pass that goes through the first time. So, like, I am discovering it for the first time. But if it seems like the entire thing is improv, thank you. It's not, but I appreciate it. That means I did my job well.
All right, last question from my Discord folks, and then we'll get into this. Jameen writes, I personally want to know what happened to Burton the robot. Is he safe? Did he survive the moves to Illinois and Arizona?
Yes, he did. I'd go get him, but he's in the other room. I don't want to run out of the room. But yeah, he's fine.
Okay, good.
You'll see him in the video.
All right, so guys, I know there's a lot of us, and I'm going to do my best. And Daniel, I'm going to keep, he's going to try to pick and choose some questions for me so we get those. Oh, he's doing that already. All right, so here we go from the chat. The first one was someone who had to leave early because they had to go to work, and I'm going to read that right now. Buffalo Guy 1991 writes, what do you think of modern fantasy like Sanderson's Stormlight Archive? Do you like it? How do you relate to the themes in that series?
It's interesting that I've actually been looking for new series to read. I haven't been sure what to read lately. I have not seen the Sanderson series. The last series I really read were Wheel of Time, and I just started. I listen to audiobooks when I'm on my dog walks with Thaco. I've been listening to the Witcher series. So
nice.
Those are really the main series that I've been discovering right now. I haven't seen. Is it Bryan Sanderson? I think I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
But I haven't been reading as much as I'd like. Hopefully that'll change. So if you have any suggestions for book series to read, I would definitely love to hear them because I've been looking for something to read.
Are you a fan of the audiobook? Is that starting to take over the reading, or do you like to? What's your preference?
Well, it's something to do on the walks.
Yeah, for sure. My wife loves that's her whole method of reading these days. I think she's almost completely given up the actual reading portion of it. I'm still kind of old school that way. I like to have the book.
I like to read. I like to read in bed now, but like it was a little bit of a struggle. The audiobooks were taking over because until I was getting stable on my meds and stuff like that, reading would make me fall asleep. So I couldn't.
That's always been my case. I think that happens to most of us. Yeah.
So now that I'm on better, I'm kind of regulated on my meds now that I can read now without instantly falling asleep.
Excellent.
But yeah, back in the day when I was driving to college, I would listen to audiobooks to and from college because I had an hour's commute both ways. I walk my dog for twice a day for about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
You can knock out a lot of books that way.
You sure can. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, so I guess we're gonna we got the bunch of donations, and thank you all. We're already over our goal today. Really appreciate that. That is super kind. So we're gonna ask some of the questions that were asked from the donors. So Novel writes, wondering if Spoonie has enjoyed any JRPG made within the last 10 years.
She's made in the last 10 years. I just started playing a long time ago, not a long time ago. I started playing a little while ago, Tales of Arise, which I like so far. I'm not very good at. Um, this may not mean much to you. Like, there's turn-based RPGs and there's active RPGs. I'm not very good at active RPGs. I panic. There's so much going on the screen that I panic. Um, Persona 5, any of the Persona series are some of my favorite games ever. Um, if you don't know what Persona is, it's essentially like Pokemon, but instead of like little pocket monsters, it's demons. That's about the most boiled down I can possibly make it. But Persona, I really like Persona a lot, and it's a turn-based RPG, which works good for me. So yeah, those.
Great. Load Dropper wants to know if Spoonie saw the 2011 prequel to The Thing and if he thought
Oh
it
god.
told a better or worse story than the video game sequel to The Thing. You're getting into some
Yes, I saw the
weeds here.
movie. I saw the movie. I don't know if I can compare it to the game because they're two very very different media. Um, I would I would rather watch the movie if you put a gun to my head and force me to choose between the game and the movie just because the movie is shorter. Um, in
No
terms of the
worries.
story, in terms of the comparison how the story went, the movie is probably better than the game's story was not very good. It's kind of a sequel, but not really. But it also, I, I I
Yeah.
I can't even think about it.
No worries. No worries. Uh, Wright said Brett wants to know: are you a fan of the adventure game in general, or and if so, what's your favorite adventure game?
Oh, like point and click adventure games.
Yeah,
Um, uh, this is hardly going to be innovative or groundbreaking, but The Secret of Monkey Island is probably one of my favorites of all time.
I just finished
Um,
it. It's just so incredibly delightful on every level and funny. I mean, it's just
yeah.
tremendously funny.
I
I
wasn't a
laugh.
big, I wasn't as big a fan of the sequels.
Did you
I'm
see
not
the
sure
newest
how.
one? Did you play the Return yet?
I haven't.
Okay, I'm hearing
I've heard
great
it's,
things.
I've heard great things about it too. Let me think. There's actually quite a few games out there like Techno Babylon, which is a newer one, at least made in the last 10 years, that I really liked a lot.
I've heard about that one
Um,
too. I think someone's mentioned that, or I think that's something we might end up playing sometime soon. Uh,
Trying to think. Um,
well, you
there's
keep.
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Oh,
If you've never, that's a good one for a let's play.
oh, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. That's
You
awesome.
might consider that one. It's a little. You also might. I'm not sure if it's buggy. You might want to look that up ahead of time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I do everything right now. I'm such a newbie. A year or so ago, I bought it.
make multiple saves. Just do that. You'll be
Yeah.
all right.
Well, I'm on the wrong platform. I'm on an iMac, and it's just not set up. So I think we're going to eventually have to get me. I have to switch over. I think if I'm going to keep doing these games. Okay. Another question on the chat that I see. Oh, where was it? Zen Solipsist writes, my only question was if you go, are you willing to go back to Facecam? It's the only reason I don't watch his live
Oh, for the
streams.
live streams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. Part of the reason this is gonna sound really lazy is part of the reason I don't do face cam on my live stream is so I don't have to comb my hair.
Hats. Just invest in hats. That's your answer.
Yeah, I could wear. Yeah, I could do. I could go back to live stream. Part of the reason is I don't know how. I wasn't sure. Me not being a professional Let's Player, I wasn't sure how essential it was to have face cam. Uh, is that something people expect? Is that something that's intrusive? I don't know.
I
At first, I
yeah.
started thinking it was just intrusive. Um,
It's fascinating, Noah, just to that people like so the other I don't know a week or two ago I just had all kinds of troubles with OBS. The game just shut down. It kept I couldn't get through anything. And so all I'm doing is just sitting here going, trying to fix it. And I'm just feeling like an idiot. And there's however many people watching. Well, I ended up getting more people joining. And I don't know, there's something about the watching somebody in real time just have to deal with whatever it is that they're dealing with. There's something fascinating about it.
Well, and also some games are a lot more fun to watch than they are to play. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know where Phantasmagoria falls into that list, but there's some games like, I don't know, like Pathologic. There's a game called Pathologic that is probably a lot more fun to watch than it is to actually play. Or some horror games. That's why a lot of Let's Players and live streamers do horror games, is because when something jumps out and scares them, you get to see people react. Sometimes overreact. And so seeing how people react to either frustration or frights and stuff like that, I think that's a big reason why face cam is so popular, is to watch people just panic.
I think people would get a kick out of seeing if you're willing to comb your hair once a day or whenever you stream, they'd love to see you. Lund Druid, D&D, TTRPG related. Spoonie, have you ever heard of the old school Renaissance scene? Since you love AD&D so much, that might be something you'd like.
I'm not sure what you mean by old school Renaissance. Like,
all right, well, scoot on.
I'm not sure what that means.
Vulcan 62. Again, this is just a, classic. Just wanted to share how Noah's warm, funny, calming personality in his videos helped me through the hardest part of my life and has made me a better father, husband, and person. Sincere thanks. It's crazy, man. It's like, and some of the comments I didn't read were, you helped somebody learn English by watching your
That's cool.
People, some of your old streams have been translated into Russian and other, it's just insane the reach that your fun humor has had.
One story that somebody shared with me was that because of my long-winded rambling, I accidentally saved somebody's grandma. Like, apparently there was a carbon monoxide leak upstairs at their house, and they were listening to one of my Counter Monkeys, which is notoriously long, like an hour and a half long, or even longer. It's me just rambling about D&D. But the only reason that they heard the carbon monoxide alarm go off was because they were up watching my video.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Apparently Grandma didn't respond to the alarm going off, but the person downstairs did. So my inability to shut up saved the grandma's life.
Way to go, you saved a grandma.
So it's all worth it.
What was the one I just saw here?
I'm taking full credit for it.
You should. Let's see, where was that related?
I'm basically a hero.
Fuse box counter. You mentioned watching. Oh, you Moon Behind Trees writes, you mentioned watching RLM. Are there other YouTube channels that you enjoy these days? How do you feel about YouTube criticism now compared to your early days?
It's a lot harder. I'll answer the first question. Red Letter Media. I like Mandalore Gaming. There's a guy called Mandalore Gaming. I've been listening to the Salt Factory, just in terms of podcast, to break up things between audiobooks. It's a lot harder, I think, nowadays, with YouTube kind of cracking down on copyright stuff like that, getting DMCA flags and stuff like that. It's a lot harder to do what movie critics especially do, because their videos get flagged. It's hard to monetize. I think that's the biggest change to the critic game nowadays. Right.
Do you know? I mean, this guy's huge, and I'm not really caught up. But I was just introduced this last year to Markiplier. Have you watched any of his stuff?
Yeah.
You remind me a little bit. I think you guys have there's some similarities to your approach and your sense of humor and sort of just
I've never spoken to him, but I know of him. Yeah.
Okay. He's made some really fun choose your own adventure videos.
He is so big right now.
I know. It's crazy. All right. Well, listen, I think we're right at about 1:11. I want to play some Phantas 2 with you. How are you feeling? I think we could maybe take like a quick 2-minute break And
Okay,
then
I could get a drink.
let's do that, and then let's come back, and we will come back, and we'll play some Phantas 2 together, and maybe answer some questions along the way. Let me see if I can find my Be Right Back. Okay, I'm going to do that. We have just about a couple minutes, and we'll see y'all in just a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, we are back. So you should be able to see that. Okay.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll bring that to the fold here, and then one thing I'm going to change.
I'll let my dog out.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So Noah, the only thing is that I was able to turn your audio up through my.
I can turn mine up here.
Yeah, let's turn you up a little bit because the game is coming through the same desktop audio. And so the game's going to end up being a little loud, and then you'll get drowned out. So if you can turn yourself up a little bit, that might help. And then I can...
Okay, I've turned up a little bit.
Oh, that looks better, yeah. So let me turn the game down a little. Hopefully this will work. I'll keep in... Daniel, just let me know where everything is once I'm going to probably bring it down to about 14. And then if we can, I'll let you know if we need to turn yours up even more. Okay. Yeah, can you turn yours up as high? What's the best you can do here? Let me see what you got.
Okay, that's pretty high.
Oh, that's good. I think that's going to work out great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to watch, I've got 25 minutes of curated footage from your Let's Play of Phantas 2. These are clips that fans have shared with me that they're their favorite. We're going to start. You and I tried to play a little bit last time, but the idea was to, we were
4.5 hours.
It wasn't going to work. So what's interesting about this is that as you're, for your game, you're commenting constantly throughout. That's what you did. You kept it going constantly. So we're going to hear Noah's voice. There's no reason to stop unless something, just...
If you have questions or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have some questions for you. If something jogs a memory for you, then let's do that. We're going to start with, it's right near the beginning. And what's really fun is watching you figure out the wallet puzzle at the beginning. So let's start with this, and let's see how it goes. Hopefully everybody's going to hear everything. Oh, already I need to change. figured out the issue that usually hops up. So there we go. That's going to work. And now we're back. And then there we go. Okay, let's do it.
Oh, so there's just something about him just standing there that makes me laugh. I don't know.
So you just sort of discovering it from the beginning.
I have no control over my life. I'm not really knowing what my objective is here.
Stand up straight, you're slouching.
Here we go, wandering. Do you ever just do that and you get up and then you stand around in a room wondering what the hell you were going to do? I do.
The funny thing is that I talk about that all the time. Tori is playing. We're playing Phantas 2 with Victoria. She's never played it before, so it's fun to watch. Adrian from Phantas 1.
I kind of do have to compliment the acting. You are acting like you just woke up.
It's great, but I am totally like, look at the horrible posture, man.
Bookshelf.
It's not like I'm always look at me. I'm sitting like this.
So bookshelf, this is great.
Maybe I'll find the strategy guide to this game here.
See, that's just a great comment.
The house next door. Murder Beach. I've read every book I own at least twice.
Maybe I should go to a library.
It's just, I need rim shots. These are so great.
Good morning, Blob.
So the beginning of...
Bob!
Going today, huh?
Who's my cute ratsy? You are.
Build a little house in there, huh? All right, I'll check back to it.
Phantasmagoria, a puzzle of the
Did
flesh.
the what was the
Say again?
what was the rat's name? Do you remember?
Blob.
Was it actually Blob?
There was... Oh, no. It was... I don't remember the rat's name. I don't think it was Blob. I think it was
It was
something
probably
else.
something like Tiberius or something.
There were two. It was Lorelei Shannon, the writer. It was her
Yeah.
pet rats. But that's the beginning of you calling out Phantasmagoria as the title, and like basically what was behind that. Just every time nothing of significance happens, you use that as a.
The game starts off slow, which is not for any good horror movie they'd always do. But I just found it so funny that for the first half hour, 45 minutes or so, we're dealing with office politics.
Oh yeah, or just even getting into the office.
Just the sheer struggle of getting to the office, and the fact that we have such like an ostentatious, bombastic title like Phantasmagoria, which it says so much that you're expecting this phantasmagorical spectacle, this big circuit. Yeah, like I picture like this big freaky circus.
Yeah, and instead it's just a guy.
And it starts off so grounded.
Yeah. No, that's
Can you feel the bone-chilling horror as he changes his rat sawdust? Door.
The thing is, though, the game gets so crazy.
This is a great
that
comment.
it's
My butt. It's so firm.
No wallet.
Yeah, it does. It just goes. You don't expect it to go.
Phantasmagoria, the quest for the wallet.
So, hearing your frustration
There's my wallet.
and
Blob?
ultimately your absolute disdain of Blob just gets funnier and funnier.
I got mad
did you just
respect
say,
for Blob. How do you
Blob?
teach a rat to do that? It's a smart rat.
What?
Moving the couch, not an option.
So I didn't get the wallet.
You're so
Move
in
the
it.
fucking couch. I can't move that. You gotta be kidding me.
We had these
Can't
discussions.
move the 30-pound couch. Well, maybe the rat can get it back. There's an idea.
See, if you got to
this
consider
works.
this game would be half as long if we didn't have these struggles with the couch.
Yeah, you're the first person who used the phrase that everybody uses, but I'm learning everything. I have a lot of catching up to do. But you were talking about moon logic.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
No, that wasn't my phrase. That's
But you used it. The first time I heard it was you saying it. So what is the definition of moon logic?
just basically trying everything on everything, like everything in inventory on every single thing, in the hopes that something will finally click.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far you got in Monkey Island 2, but I think that's probably the most famous, example of moon logic is the spitting contest in Monkey Island 2.
I'm in it. I started it, but then I was told that I need to go get more stuff before I come back. So I tried.
Oh, you will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right,
because
little snot.
you won't remember this, so
Drag
it's
my
not really a
rope.
spoiler. But you've got to do so much to get through the spitting contest. You've got to drink something to make your spit thicker, but you can't just drink anything. You got to mix 2 drinks.
Oh man, yeah, okay, there you go. That's yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's-
thought that I just thought that if I hawked the loogie, swished it around a little bit and spit, I'd be good, or if I did the right combination, but that's
You got to
not.
move the flags. You got to wait for the wind.
All right, I'm going to write these things down. All right.
Pull it under there. You can just go bring it back.
He's a rat. He's not gonna. What?
Bob,
Your
come out of
indignation
there.
is just too fun.
Are you serious? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So now I've lost the rat.
It would have been
and
so
the
funny if
wallet
the rat
under
just
the
never came out.
fucking-
Yeah.
Get him some food. Granola.
Oh, he does stay under there. You
I
got
can't
to.
believe
Okay,
I'm
I
actually
forgot this
figuring this
puzzle.
out.
Yeah.
These puzzles are ridiculous.
Hey, Bob. Hey, check it out. Oh, there you are.
The one thing I've always commented on this, and my fans are probably sick of hearing it, is that I've never not impressed by the cinematography in this. Like this angle right here.
Yeah.
Just, the people that, the DP is now a major DP for Hollywood, and it does big studio films and Game of Thrones and stuff. But just when early on in the game, when they had the budget before they blew through the entire budget, some of the camera work is just really quite wonderful.
Yeah, it's filmed like a movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Gotcha.
It worked.
Oh, very good.
And it brought the wallet back. How did it do that? How did it bring the wallet back? I don't get that. It dragged it somehow? Like. Let's go to
I think one
Initech,
thing I tried
because,
to do during this Let's Play was I tried to put the rat back because I didn't know if I was actually going to take the rat to work.
There's one thing that I think that because you did that, if you go straight to the door, the rat is on your shoulder.
Oh, it is?
And you actually have to, you go to the door and you realize the rat's on your shoulder and you have to go put it back. So you were too conscientious to actually put the rat back in the first place. You missed a scene.
I just know they're gonna drag me into work on Saturday. Another door.
That would have been so funny if the boss
How
got
can
you
you
into
get
trouble, though. Like, he caught the rat at work, like the rat's just sitting on the desk, and he's like, Curtis, what have I told you?
Well, we have one of, as we get to the end here, the catchphrase, I heard that, Curtis, which is something thank you, by the way. I hear that just about every single day. But somebody put together a compilation of all of them, which is really fun. So we'll watch that in a little bit. But here he is getting lost. You can't get to your own desk here.
How can you get lost in your own workplace?
I missed him. There's a great moment where you talk about how tidy that room is.
I'm gonna stuff this in my pocket. It's a door to the Lollipop Guild's office. What am I doing? He's gonna put the shit back. God. It's important nobody finds my hidey hole. I can't believe.
That is many people's one of their favorite little lines. You're the hidey hole. When you play Phantasmagoria Dimension Next, our little fan game, Daniel has put all kinds of fun little rooms in that little room. Some of the games that we've been playing, and it's really fun. It's really cool.
I'm stuck already, just trying to get to work.
Whoa, check it out. Green cubicles and purple walls. If that doesn't spell murder and horror, I don't know what does. Oh, let's hang out by the water cooler. That sounds like fun. Oh, god damn, that's good water.
That's just so great. You could have gone so many different ways with that, and then that comes back numerous times. How good the water is there.
That accomplished a lot. Thank you, game. Now, of course, I don't know which cubicle I work in. A common problem among office workers. Should just tell you, but I'll just choose one. Somebody's...
Oh, is it? Yes.
Coat is hanging on the wall, and there's a way into the cubicle, so I'll try the way of the coat.
The way of the coat.
Obviously not my cubicle, or something is
Bob.
very, very wrong.
Hey, Bob.
What time is
Listen,
it?
if you're done with the Venom files, you mind if I borrow them?
Well, that's brilliant. You see, that's a moment. Oh, what happened? That the first thing you see. I mean, that's one of those moments that does that come a little later, or do you see that right away? The fact, hey, Blob, what time is it? This huge clock sitting right there.
That's a Mystery Science reference. I think at one point there's in one of the episodes of Mystery Science Theater, there's like this really prominent clock on the wall, but at the same time, the clock's time never changes.
Oh,
It's a not a plot hole, but a continuity error. So at one point, every time the clock appears, they go, "What time is it?"
oh, gotcha. Well, it's just it's
If
great.
you're done with the Venom files, you mind if I borrow them for an hour or so?
The Venom?
Forget it, Rat Boy. They wouldn't help you anyway. We both know that I'm the one that's going to get that big promotion, so piss off.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob. As always, it's been a pleasure.
You're a real team player, Bob. Thank you. Yo, look at that. You see that little finger? Look at that little... I would kick your ass up and down the office if you gave me that finger. I mean, seriously, come on.
That's one of the few times I ever got in front of the camera for that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So what are the moments that make you want to break out and talk to us? What
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was one of the. It was
just so fun. You wanted to kind
Such
of
a
play
weird-
around with it. Yeah.
but it was so Bob.
Yeah.
It's such a Bob gesture, but
I had a
I
good.
can't believe your character took that.
I tracked him down. The actor, his name's Don Berg, and he was part of the reunion tour that we went on, and he's so much fun. It's such a great interview. I highly recommend people watching it. It's super.
He did great in this.
He really
great in this
did.
game.
Yeah.
Do I dare face the wrath of Bob? Wow. The
Oh!
office politics of Phantasmagoria 2.
Hey, Treese. Could you please put the Sagawa file back onto the main directory? I'm gonna need it soon.
What'll you give me for it?
A cookie? Line?
A cookie.
Curtis,
You said line. That's so great. It's like he just has nothing. Line. I don't know what I'm gonna say
checking
next.
it in right now.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go cut off my ear and mail it to you. Thrilling, isn't it?
How much
With
of this
the
do you
guy
remember?
We didn't know. Asked the.
I honestly don't. It's been so long. I don't remember much of this.
It's kind of must be meta bizarre to be watching and hearing your reactions to something that you did so long ago.
Well, I'm trying to. The thing is, I started saying things, and then I immediately in the video start saying them again because I'd forgot. I'm duplicating my riffs here, so I'm trying not to do that.
Oh, it's great. I think you should. If you have a response, it's fun.
People we didn't know for the file we didn't know what they are. Right?
I still can't remember.
So I'm just nosing around
what
cubicles
Wintech
now for
does.
no
Is it
reason.
like an insurance company or
Pharmaceuticals.
pharmaceuticals? Yeah, because they're making a diet pill.
Yeah, that ultimately tapped into the other dimension, and I still don't get half. I mean, I still don't get half of what this is. So you say something here that here you go.
Now you've switched perspectives on me, and I have no idea where I am.
So that happens to me in these adventure games all the time.
Oh yeah, the camera flips. Yeah.
Oh, and there's the perspective doesn't help you. I have to say that when they did Contradiction, they nailed it. You always know where you are. You always know where you're going next. But in this game, and in the first Phantasmagoria, I never know. As soon as they turn it around, you don't know where you came from.
It's really easy to miss something that way.
I can't even get it. It took me forever to even get to the door to get out of the office. So another.
Oh man.
I didn't know you could keep going back to the water cooler over and over again.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit, so this
okay.
isn't all. It's mostly in chronological order, but I just thought it would be fun because you do have a number of riffs at the water cooler here.
Perch today.
I'm parched today.
My lord. There's a lion at the watering hole.
Hardly.
Shucks.
More like a wildebeest.
Grr. Grr. Is this sexual tension, or do we just share a love for water?
I like you, Curtis. There's more to you than meets the eye.
It's Curtis, more than meets the eye. That's sexual harassment, and I think I'm gonna take it.
That's totally him. It's funny. At one point, you comment on the actor who plays Therese, her accent, and you were having fun with it, thinking it's a German accent, and that you thought that she was, putting it on. But the reality is that she is from Iceland. She is
she's Icelandic. Okay.
She's Icelandic. So that accent is very pure and very much who she is. And so it's kind of funny that you missed that one.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
Now I feel a little bad.
And now my average day.
Well, I'm friends with her, so if you have anything you want me to relay to her, feel free.
I apologize. Getting someone's nationality wrong is actually kind of a very big gaffe, so I do apologize for that.
All right, she'll take that with grace.
Begins.
The day begins. The work day. That's another thing that's funny about the. You gave him a whoopee cushion. It is one of those games where the humor is that you spend as much time as you can not working. I mean, there is a computer there. You have to log on, but there are so many distractions, and it really does mirror real working life of just doing everything you can, calling people, visiting people, getting water.
Very funny, Bob.
I think I try like every phone number there is.
Very funny, Bob.
Phantasmagoria! Contact your network administrator.
Oh, crap, I changed my password. Oh, damn, what was it?
Phantasmagoria! Trying to remember your login! Oh, wow. Man, that guy can really sneeze. When you get your password wrong, it really lets you know it.
When you get your password wrong.
Ow, my tooth just exploded. Suddenly, whenever a computer crashed and somebody clicked on the Send Error Report button, Bill Gates would get telekinetically punched in the mouth. I better call IT. My computer's beating me up.
He's real. I want to. No, he's not. Get that one. Get that
Oh
one.
my
No,
God. I've been rickrolled! No!
Good boy. Yes.
Never gonna give you up.
Jehovah's Witnesses would like to offer you a watchtower. Oh, golly, lady, you all right? Let me help you up there. Here are 2 successful encyclopedia salesmen.
That was one of our
I'm getting the
fans'
feeling
favorites.
I really need to switch operating systems.
Yeah, really.
Yo, Jacob!
Whoa!
HP issued a recall of its touchscreen monitors today. No, I didn't come in you, Pete, I swear. Oh no. I wet him again.
Freak.
Bob is
You know
just
what,
there to-
Bob? That's it!
That's one of my favorite little. I mean, you have a great riff on this, but watch his physicalization after Curtis gives him the stare. It's just watch the way he moves his body. It's so perfect. So he's kind of right there.
You know what, Bob? That's it!
Oh, I missed it. Let's do it again here. It's better if it's. There we go.
Freak.
Just watch this little shimmy.
You know what, Bob? That's it! Me and you! Outside!
He died too soon in this game.
I gotta
He
lay
did.
off that water.
I gotta lay off that water. I love that how you bring things back. So that's such a, I don't think I'm a huge fan of repetition, and if it's done right, there's just nothing like it. And for you to come to keep rolling back to these you start a joke, and it's funny in and of itself, and then you can move on, but you're really good at like finding your way back, and then ultimately there's a theme there, and then it just gets funnier each time because you've established something. Do you that's one of those things I feel like comes later. It's rarely something that you.
I wasn't trying anything specific, but
Oh, okay.
with callbacks like I heard that Curtis and stuff like that, it's a lot of fun for the audience to have some kind of feeling of participation in it, because they can kind of see it coming too when it's.
Yeah, Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Okay, it looks like the video froze, but I should be okay now. So thanks for sharing that. We're all good. Don't be worried. Everything's fine. Wasn't too bad. Okay, let's see. There we go. We're
All
back.
that stuff about your mother, that's an awful lot for you to deal with alone.
Yeah, I thought about it, Trev.
Okay, so here's the moment that this is Trevor and Curtis talking about all the crazy things that are happening in the office, and I can only imagine the first time you
Oh, the
watched
receipts
it.
guy?
Yeah, so the first time you watched it, you're probably concentrating on what they're saying, but we have the waiter in the background, and so along the way, you decide to create a little inner monologue. You turn the scene from our two heroes, and it becomes about the inner monologue of the waiter, and it's
I got
just
fixated on that guy because he's in every shot.
it's so good. So yeah, let's give it a
Yeah, I
go.
thought about it, Trev, but I'd rather be dead.
Man, I got a lot of receipts back here. Got to add all this stuff together. I can't tell you how many checks I have to add up. 1, 2. Oh, hey, welcome to Chachi's. Yeah, I'll be right with you. I just got to finish these receipts. Why don't you go sit over at the bar over there? I'll be right with you as soon as I finish adding up all of these receipts. I know. It's crazy. Yeah, our cash
What's really
register
cool
broke
is
down. I
that
can't.
Curtis is giving this.
Yeah.
He's giving this really devastating story. Like if somebody told you at work, "I wish I was dead."
I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Don't make me go
Stop
back.
everything. Like, and all of a sudden I get fixated on receipts guy.
But it's what's so great about it is that you've just changed the perspective, and so now they're the background, and he's become the main thing, and you've basically every single move you have.
It'd be funny if the camera changed focus.
You probably could have done it. You probably could have slowly zoomed in on him a little bit, but it's so fun. Yeah.
Added automatically. Well, back at it.
Then you don't let up on it. You just through the entire scene, you just keep it going.
Let's see.
I'm a
table
jerk.
4,
No,
Edith,
it's great.
11.95. Next page. Oh yeah, margarita. Woo, these ladies are starting early this morning.
I mean, that's just great. You take it. You even get to the point where you're commenting on the people who've been over, drinking too much in the morning.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Right now. Well, me too, come to think about it. So,
Man,
What do you
addition's
think?
hard.
Addition's
7
hard.
checks. Oh, I'm gonna be here all day. See you, Phil. Good luck with those checks. Hope that POS machine starts working again. Oh, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do stage business. Big hand for the waiter, everybody. Come on, give it
Big
up.
stage business.
Yeah, good stuff. So I put together. I think the next 3 are you continuing your riff with the waiter. So this is a little bit out of context, but
Oh, hey, Curtis. Yeah, seat yourself.
I love
I'm just
this
working
bit.
on these
What's
receipts,
that?
bro. Right on.
I love the high five or the low five. But
Hi yourself.
I'm not getting erotic letters from Therese. Stop interrogating me,
would be
okay?
the usual.
yeah. So he gets a erotic postcard from her, and now you're
Right.
giving Curtis he's voicing his incredible guilt at this point, which is great.
Hi, sweetie.
What?
How was
Nothing.
your
I
day?
never touched her.
Just wish.
It got louder.
Is she gonna break into a
I could be there all
song?
the time. That's all.
Hey, are you guys gonna want anything else? Cause these receipts are really piling up over here. I'll just add it up then. Milkshake, $2.95. That guy has been back there for hours. What is he writing his fucking memoirs or something?
I think part of the problem is that he is essentially you were complimenting the cinematography, and it is good to an extent, but what you don't do is you put the guy, he's pulling focus because he's in dead center of the screen.
Yeah. Well, you know
He's
what's
actually
funny?
pulling focus from you.
Yeah. So here's what happened. This was all shot at the end. So all of anything that we shot on location. So this was an actual, closed down Mexican restaurant that we had access to. And then, so everything that we shot that wasn't on set was at the end of the shoot. They had blown totally through their budget. And so, and part of it, I think, was because these young filmmakers, young out of school filmmakers, paid so much attention to detail at the beginning that they ran way past what they should have done. So when you get to these scenes, when you get to scenes in the borderline, the camera is just simply placed and there's no camera movement. It's just boom, one shot, because they've run out of money. It's not that they couldn't do it. They just weren't,
That makes a lot of sense, because if you were watching the dailies for this, I'm guessing you did all these in one stretch. You know, all these not every, you mean the camera does move.
Well, if you look at the early stuff, if you look at stuff in Curtis's apartment, or in I'm just trying to think, in Wintech, there's a lot of over the shoulder. There's cutting from one to another, different angles. So you don't, and here it's all just one take, because they were done. So we had to just do a 3-minute scene in one take so that they could do it. So yeah, it's very clear when we started to lose money.
Back to the stack. Hey, I can click on the waiter. Let's try that.
He is dead center of that shot.
Yeah, he is.
Shazam, our milkshakes are full. You know, I bet the waiter turns out to be the evil mastermind behind all this.
It would have been good if he had
remember
had
that
some
night we
sort
went
of...
to the park?
I'm going to turn this down a little bit here. Let's see if I can do that without screwing anything up. Where's the sound? There it is. Let's do... This could be a little better. Okay. All right, we're about. How you doing, Noah? You okay?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. Oh, it was a funny. You have a funny
Park.
No.
Oh God, it was.
Behind all this, whatever's happening.
Jess, do you remember that night we went to the park?
No.
God, it was so hot.
No.
We brought a loaf of stale bread to give to the ducks. You ran from them.
Oh, they were gonna eat me.
Seriously, babe, you know how I feel about ducks. A duck killed my father.
What happened was you couldn't stand it.
Oh my God, Jocelyn, head for the exit now. The ducks, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
That's great. So I love it. You just were able to take that moment and turn it into something else. Now that's a pretty cool camera angle right there.
That's a good shot.
Slut. Sure, I'm like you killed your mother.
Oh, can someone give me a towel? I kind of drooled all over myself. Do not
I kind of drooled.
react. Do not react.
Oh, this is a funny moment because there's the sex scene, which if you think about it, it's pretty and tame. And there is a little bit of upper body nudity, but there's really not much to it. But of course, there is no, it's not going to fly on YouTube. So you had a very creative way of showing / not showing the sex scene.
This is one of the other times I cut away.
Yeah.
Whoa! Tonight on Cinemax. Oh, Scully. I mean, Starbuck.
Now here's a moment where, I'm sorry just to cut here, but like again, they have the, they have the lighting in the background. They have the rain on the window. They have the camera up high.
This was early.
Yeah, this is super early. This is like, so they were really, they were going bonkers with the headlights going by. They really had, this is where they blew all their budget.
I mean, number 6. I mean, Jocelyn.
So you get to see yourself looking younger too, pal. So you're not the
I
only
know,
one.
right?
You're not the only one who has to endure looking at a younger version of yourself. Thumbs up.
You do realize there's no way I can show you any of this, right? 30 seconds later.
Oh.
And unbelievably, it works. Okay, I can talk to the waiter who is still...
Okay, so let's see. So he's still talking about his receipts. Let's see. There's a reason I'm doing this.
Hey, my man. Aren't you supposed to be basking in the warm fluorescent lights of Wintech?
Nope. School got called due to murder. Bob Arnold got himself butchered like a pig in my cubicle, no less.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that is hard.
Okay, I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Let's see.
On the road, you know?
Oh, hey, speaking of dead cats, half price on mini tacos today.
You must have been in total shock.
Okay, let's get on this one here.
Thinking of you. Whips and kisses. Tea.
Oh, that Trevor. He's a... funny guy.
That's perfect.
Hey, Miss Blob.
Are you and Blob? Here we go.
Pretty girl.
My God.
Yeah, you're the prettiest rat in the world, aren't you?
Are you serious? Why am I here?
All right, just don't get cocky, huh?
Why are you talking to a rat? Why am I watching this?
I talk to my dog like that.
So
all the
now,
time.
yeah, now you did you have pets back then?
No.
So now you get it. That's great.
Now I get it.
Bob was trying to get a payday bar out of the vending machine and it fell over and it was...
Yes, we did.
Ding, ding, ding. It sounds like a Mazda Miata telling you the door is still ajar.
So people commented on this. This is a great scene. Again, you'll see. This is where the cinematography is really strong. But somebody commented on you kind of get caught up for a moment. You're surprised that this actually does get a little creepy and scary. So there's an honest reaction of you here, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa, not the sound I expected that door to make. Sounds like a John Carpenter movie starting up. The Passion of the Bob.
The Passion of the Bob.
Please enjoy this sneak preview.
This is
of
difficult to
watching
shoot
it.
too, by the way. I can appreciate the camera move here because you've got a tracking shot, you know, and you've got all these extras with their own business. The cops doing the flashlight, walking back and forth.
Yeah, and I talked to Wes Plate, who was the editor, and they originally tried to cut together the murder scene in and of itself, so that it was one thing, but it just didn't work. And so I think kind of in a last ditch effort, they intermixed it with this tracking shot, and which I think is so much more effective. Yeah.
Phantasmagoria! Wait, this is scary.
Oh wait, this is scary.
Okay, guys, we got the big chunks out of the way. We're gonna need a spatula for the rest of this. Milton, no!
Somebody was saying the other day, I think it was, like, you see that there is a hand with a glove there doing this. Like, so what? That's the big question is, you know,
Who
if you
did
haven't,
it?
yeah, you know, because for those of you who haven't played this game, I don't want to ruin anything, but Curtis thinks he's going crazy because he's seeing a doppelganger of himself. And the question that we have is it him or is it this other dimension that's supposedly there, and who's doing what? And then at the end of the game, you never really know who creates these murders. You know, did he force the real Curtis to do it, or was it the other one?
I believe I have your stapler.
Oh
dear
office.
God! Fatality.
That was.
Dude just got sliced stem to stern with a box cutter. Awesome. He's resisting
That
every
was
natural
brutal.
instinct
It
to
was
piss on his
brutal.
body.
In case you didn't notice, this is an active crime scene. Back off.
This is a great little moment.
Sir, this is Jimmy Olsen, cop reporter. Hold still. Good.
So you don't, which is true. Like all of a sudden, this guy from the 1940s with an old, you know, flash
Central
bulb.
casting. You know,
All right. Is this okay? Are you having fun? Is this? All right. Let's keep going.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Guybrush Threepwood, a mighty
Hey,
pirate.
there you go.
Well, Jimmy, if you asked me yesterday, I said it wouldn't be humanly possible to fit a man's head up his own ass. Oh, I got my choice of the two ladies to talk to. But, again, being a good boyfriend, I will choose my girlfriend.
Are you all right, Curtis? You're acting really weird.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, Joss.
Why don't you call me when you're done being an asshole?
Well, that could take some time, baby. That's a good thing we're in a restaurant, because you just got served!
Curtis, let's cut to the chase. I've told you how I feel about you, and you've put up your nice guy protest, but we're through dancing.
When did you become
Meet
German?
me at the borderline tonight.
Borderline, what, the club?
It's okay.
This can only end in a three-way or a cat fight, so it's win-win.
Here's the address.
Let's see, 2 Scribble Avenue. There, that's the whole address. AM or PM?
Don't disappoint me.
Hey, that's what I do, baby. I mean, not disappointing you. Hey, you know what I mean. I'm gonna try look.
I like how I really like the, you know, you've taken the, you know, Curtis is the guy that everything happens to. So he's written as someone that doesn't show a great deal of personality, and you sort of have to bring what you can to it. But I love how you've taken that bumbling, you know, the bumblingness of it and taken it to 11. It's really fun to hear those comments. Or I could just be bitter, but I decided to be kind.
No, you're playing him as an office nerd, and so I'm turning the nerd up to 11.
Exactly.
Looking in my mirror again because the fans insist that something good will happen. So we'll see.
I didn't kill anyone.
Of course you did.
Whoa! Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. This is Satan. I was just using your bathroom. I'll be right out.
Once again, attempt to feed the rat.
So you said this in the last one, but back in the day, you couldn't upload an hour's worth of material. So you did this in 10, 12-minute chunks, right?
Yeah, I think the limit was no more than 15 minutes, but it might have been around like 12. So yeah, around the time I was doing this, I was uploading in about 10-minute chunks.
Do you remember how long it took you to get through this whole game and to get them all get everything?
I think the total Let's Play is like 4.5 hours.
So in terms of but what I mean in terms of creating it and posting it from beginning to end, how long did it take? Was it
probably
months?
2 weeks?
2 weeks. Dang, that's a pretty impressive. That's a lot.
Because the whole galaxy centers around that rat.
Hey, rat girl. Oh, God. I don't suppose you know what the hell's going on, huh?
Isn't it obvious? You're a killer.
Blob, you have lain with the Dark One, and I told you no!
Not dead.
I'd be so happy the rat can talk. I'd be like, oh my God!
It's funny, I was watching it, because I'd never played the game or seen it, so when I played it last year for the first time, and we have our Let's Play on the YouTube, if you want to watch if anybody wants to watch the bizarreness of me playing my own game for the first time. But what surprised me was that with the Hecatomb, with the doppelganger of me, I'm surprised they didn't use my voice. It made it, and altered it in some way. But
it's supposed to be you. I mean,
or at least that's what he's thinking, right? And so I'm surprised that, because it's so weird to hear some other voice that they found from central casting to be that. I think it would have been way creepier if it was if he was hearing himself.
Did they have you read the lines, or
never once? And I never even thought about it either, because I guess I hadn't read that part of the script, I guess. So all right, let's see. He's back at his bookshelf. The books have all changed. They're all books about murder now.
Leech therapy. Lobotomy is the answer. What the hell?
Oh, that's right. I joined the Stephen King book club last month. That was it. So Curtis has a rotary phone from the 1960s. And the editor, realizing this, thankfully gives us a crossfade.
Hi, my name's Curtis Craig, and I was referred to Dr. Harburg by somebody, and I was...
Cut. Curtis, would you learn your lines, please?
I was trying to act fumbly.
Keep searching the desk. Can't use the phone. Can't use that. Okay.
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
Yeah, thanks for the translation.
Yeah, well.
Thanks for the translation.
Seize this, Warner.
I heard that, Curtis.
All right, so that's not the first one, but I think the second time you said that. So you have a moment where Curtis mumbles.
I don't know if there's ever a moment where he actually does hear that. Like,
I don't think he ever does.
Is there ever a scene where he just kind of peeks around the corner and was like...
No, I think that you just had a moment. I imagine, tell me if you remember, but I imagine after having gone through this, somewhere along the line, you realize that he keeps making snarky remarks about his boss. And then the running joke starts to show up, right?
Well, I just kept picturing what would happen. Like if all of a sudden the camera just went, whoop, and all of a sudden he was like right there.
Well,
the only thing I can click on in here is a key, so I got that. Busted.
Well, just what would you be doing in my office when I'm not here?
I was just admiring your singing wall-mounted trout.
Singing wall-mounted trout.
Let's say we cut the crap. You've been poking around in places you don't belong. Don't make the same mistake.
This is really good set design, because you can tell this guy is evil because he has dead animals all over the walls.
That's all you need, right? He didn't even have to act evil.
You can tell somebody is rich and cruel. Because they have taxidermy animals on the walls.
He
That's how you do it.
he could have played it like Mr. Rogers, and it would have still come across as evil just because of the art direction. Yeah.
Snooping.
I would hate to have to lose you.
Yes, lose you in a fiery truck accident and lots of blood and cancer.
Blood and cancer, that's a good
title. I wonder if you saw
title.
that open document I had on my desktop about the interdimensional aliens crossing through a rift I made in the space-time continuum.
And you nailed that. So you totally worked that out so that it happened right through that close-up, and it ended just as he was walking away. So little things of detail that I just think are so great. And I don't know if not everybody sees exactly how you time that out.
I love you, Blob. No matter what, make sure someone takes good care of you.
You know, if the game itself isn't going to take a fucking interest in the storyline, why the hell should I? Oh, gee, look at the freak. Time, I mean. I really have a psycho. I mean, I really have to go. I'm a maniac, another killer for murder. I mean, meeting another client for dinner. Damn it. As soon as she walked into my office, I knew she was trouble. The dames always are.
Therese.
So perfect film noir. That's the only moment in the game, except for Jimmy Olsen with the camera, that really is a nod to that film noir look, and you just take it and run. The next part is really fun because you just you're very clear about what it took for her to set up the BDSM rig in his next room. It's really
Yeah. Where's the talking coming from?
I'm a woman of many talents.
Like lockpicking?
Curtis, come sit down with me.
So the chick at work who acted like a creepy stalker ever since you met her turned out to be a creepy stalker, and you're annoyed by this.
Have you been here long?
Long enough to get to know your rat.
Oh my god, what is she implying here?
You break into people's apartments often?
No. Only when I really like them.
Patrice, I don't want to be rude, but what are you doing here?
Well,
We made love and now your soul belongs to me.
I didn't come here to talk.
Well, what did you come here to do?
We are taking our relationship to the next level. Der Wundersex. Your safe word is Fahrvergnügen eine kleine Schnitzelbank. And from now on, you are my dirty altar boy.
Oh my god!
Good.
Oh my god. So she was there all day putting chain anchors into ceiling beams? That's not as easy as it sounds. I'm serious. Think of the preparation this took. She had to go to a hardware store, get a stepladder, a stud finder, 30 feet of chain. She had to get a power
This is
drill
demo
and
reel
extension
footage for you right here.
For sure. Yeah, that got me no work in LA.
cord, something to cut the chain with. She had a special ordered leather underwear and harness. It's 200 pounds you're hanging from the ceiling there. You gotta be careful with this.
Well, we'll just have to zip up that sweet mouth of yours. If you can't be a good boy. Would you like that?
Yes, for God's sake, yes!
So I've talked about this in our previous stuff, but we had to go to into a bondage store. We got all this stuff. We had to get fitted, and then this is a big set. Like you can see that the
ceiling is really high.
There's no roof. So they literally brought in a forklift on the other side so they could do everything that you just said so that they could, this whole thing, it was crazy just to get me lifted 3 or 4 feet off of the bed. So you absolutely nailed the insanity.
You couldn't have been in that for long because that had to be uncomfortable.
It was awful because there's no neck support. It was just, we only had, that was not a fun day at all of filming. Contrary to what people might think, it was not fun. So here's the next one is you being Tom, the office manager.
This is Tom. Yeah, Tom writing fan fiction, right?
Exactly. Here we go.
Tifa's enormous, milky white breasts were slick with perspiration as they heaved against the cruel bonds of her black leather bodice. She struck Cloud again with the whip and said, "Do you like that little boy?" "Oh, yes, Tifa, I do," he said.
There. That ought to be enough to fry your ass, Warner.
I heard that, Tom.
Good. You took it. Anytime anybody talks about Warner, he hears it.
He's just everywhere.
Not adjust your monitor. We control the brightness.
We control the contrast. We even control your refresh rate. Phantasmagoria, a puzzle of loose connector plugs. Ow! And they're surrounded by a tangle of loose wires.
His head, and you noticed it. You absolutely. It's just so great. It's just such a great moment.
Ow! And they're surrounded by a tangle of loose wires. Tom, in that very moment, had a shocking epiphany. He had invented Bluetooth 10 years before its time. Unfortunately, he wouldn't live long enough to tell anyone. When your life has been directly threatened by your boss and there's already been one unsolved murder in your office building, always work late and alone. Please, Hammer, don't hurt him. That was a strange instructional video on office safety. Childhood. Hey, now wait a minute. That door really reminds me when my hand... yes, when I fit my hand completely up my nose. I think we've all had a cold like that at one time or another, haven't we? Dad, can I have a Kleenex? Oh, Great Cthulhu shoved Curtis up his nose, and now he's covered in Elder God boogers.
I love it.
I know I probably should click on the gun, but I'm going to click on Jocelyn just to see, well, if it works, and if it doesn't work, the funny death scene. Yep. Bad move. So Curtis failed to defeat both an old man and a woman 60 pounds lighter than him in hand-to-hand combat. I think it's time to turn in the man card, Curtis.
I think you're right. Okay, so here's our I Heard That Curtis compilation. I believe it was...
How many times did I manage to pound this joke into the ground?
Let's see. And Daniel, will you remind me? I think it's Zwex that put this together, right? So he put a lot of time into this, and it's really quite fun. So let's give it a go. So number 1.
And the less I see of Paul Allen Warner, the happier I'll be.
I heard that, Curtis.
There we go.
I think you said that right outside his office. Too.
Yeah, right.
He's
The
this
one-
Warner.
Where that
I heard that, Curtis.
This is great.
Cold-hearted son of a bitch.
Ring, ring, ring. I heard that, Curtis.
He calls him back.
It's too bad she didn't pistol whip him.
I heard that, Curtis.
I know that joke's going to get old, but it hasn't yet.
At least you can.
Yeah, rip him a new one, detective. I hope she locks him up with Hannibal Lecter.
I heard that, Curtis.
There.
Now to write the hair
There
club
we
for
got
men.
this one.
That ought to be enough to fry your ass, Warner.
I heard that, Tom.
Don't move, Curtis.
I thought I heard you in here.
Yeah, close.
Oh, you didn't hear that coming, did you, dickweed?
Okay, so now we're at the end, and I thought it would be fun for you to have to go through what I generally have to go through in watching watching Phantasmagoria 2, and we get to watch your little end of your...
that bit.
We're going to watch your skit at the end, so here we go. Everybody, we get to watch Spoony...
This is me thinking I could do better, right?
Turning into Curtis. Here we go.
Yeah, like I really want to talk to...
Oh, it stopped. Let me get it back. I don't want you to...
Oh, you got it.
Well, you see it, but they don't. Let me just real quick. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Okay.
Yeah, like I really want to talk to Batman.
Wait. What happened here? No. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Sorry, let's go to this.
Oh, this, okay.
Yeah. Nice music.
Oh.
You got the... Oh, it froze. Hold on.
Oh.
All right. Wow, why is this frozen? Maybe just too much goodness. It can't handle it.
Too epic.
Too epic. Okay, one more time here. I like the punching bag. The very Looney Tunes-esque. The glasses.
Great pocket tee. Glasses? What in the hell is going on here?
hell's going on here?
Oh, let me do something really quick. So you're doing the fidgeting, which is great. Someone asked about that. So at one point you talk about a Batman. So there was a Batman Easter egg at one point.
Yeah.
If you're in the psychiatrist's office and then she says next, and then a guy wearing a Batman outfit comes in and does that. Well, that was the DP, Matt Jensen. Matt Jensen. I don't know why I don't know who had the costume or why they did that, but I think we were very punchy by the end there, and something, I don't know what was the reason, but all I can tell you is that it was Matt Jensen, the DP. All right, let's watch you see if you can out fidget me. See, I'd say you're fidgeting too much.
Too much. It's too much. Too
it's a
quick.
little, yeah, you have to slow it down a little bit.
I love you, Burton. You're the bestest robot in the whole wide world. Bite my ass, meatbag. This is the Burton
There he is.
experiment now.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's just you could have parsed it out
How
a little
to
more.
win at Triple Triad. Timber Maniacs? Pet pals? Damn you!
That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, it wasn't. You almost knocked the frame off. Do you still have that Conan poster?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Look at that! You made the thing. It's me, a duck. Wait, I gotta see what you got there. A duck. What is it?
Bonesaw.
Bonesaw, Arnold.
From the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, Phil and Batman.
All right. Hello, this is Noah.
Hello, me. It's me again.
Who is this?
Oh, don't play stupid with me, Noah. You knew very well from the beginning this would never be over.
No.
You think you can start something like this and hope you can just walk away? Well, guess again, Noah.
No, you're lying.
No. Look at the shot reverse shot from me here.
Nice.
Impressive camera work.
Yeah, not bad at all.
You will never be free.
You can do a good Paul Warner.
Be waiting here.
The duck.
I don't know what I was going for. A duck.
Hey, freak show! Bonesaw is ready!
I'm gonna get to the end here. Let's see.
Stupid.
You're stupid, and you got a big dumb Jew nose.
Hey!
Bitch, I've got more money than Colonel Sanders.
Fucking Batman.
And then I think we just get to.
McFly!
Nice. You got the wind. They got the mirror and everything too. And that's all I got. So I didn't find a good ending to it. But let me get
I'm
us
really
back
proud
to.
of the credit sequence I did to Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Yeah, and I don't know why I don't have it. Maybe I do. Let me just see if it's worth. If I can.
Because that kind of picked out a lot of my favorite moments of the series, just kind of there, because it kind of showcased every actor.
Yeah, and you did a really great job of changing. You know, you did like the credits, and you actually gave you renamed everybody, and you had fun with yeah.
I tracked down pretty much everyone's name. There was only like one or two people whose names I couldn't find.
Well,
so I think everyone's name is pretty much correct.
Well, if you have, I'm sorry I don't have it here, but yeah, it is a really fun end credits, and just what a great stream, and you know, it's funny. No, it's really fun. It's very bizarre. Who would have ever thought, right, that our paths would cross in this way?
Right.
Who would have ever thought? As I said to you before, when I first heard about your Let's Play, I was not surprised that someone had great fun with the game. I remember when we were filming it, I think we had a very similar, you know, my fellow actors and I had a similar kind of feel that it was this equal parts, really, some of it was just really had a lot of incredible depth to it, but then it was also, then some of the lines were incredibly cheesy and sort of, I remember like there were times I'm like, oh gosh, do I really have to say this line? I don't know. It just doesn't.
Well, that's why I think it works as well as it does. As a B movie, I think it's meant to be that way.
Yeah. And
where I mean, it's the reason it's actually a little silly that I was complaining how slow it starts off, because by the end it gets crazy. All the stuff that's going on, because I mean, we go from giving somebody the middle finger in office to forgetting your login to you hanging from the ceiling in leather underwear, and that's not even as crazy as it gets.
No, and then we tracked down the final script. Paul Mitri, the guy who played Trevor, all of us had sort of thrown our scripts away, but he had it. It's like 500 pages, and so we've been looking through it. And when you read some of there was so much that got cut out of the final chapter when he's in the threshold. That was going to be 3 weeks of filming, but it got truncated to just a few days in front of a green screen. So we had to cut.
Budget.
Yeah, and so there was so much more that was there that we weren't ultimately able to film. That's why I think a lot of people felt disappointed by the ending.
This is where the Patreon thing could get crazy. Like, if this really takes off, if this blows up, you've got the script. You could shoot that final act.
Yeah, how would you do it? You'd have to do it with animation, or you'd have to figure some way that, I don't know if you couldn't get everybody.
Curtis passes through a dimensional vortex that ages him
30 years. Yeah. Yeah. So who knows? We'll see. There are
an older Curtis comes from the future.
Yeah, you go. Let's write the Phantas 3 script. Yeah. Well, listen, hey, I don't want to take any more of your time. You've been so generous. I just want to thank you for your time. People have been incredibly kind during the chat. I hope that I'm sorry I didn't really get a chance to keep track of it at all. So I hope that you all had a good time today and we got to answer a lot of your questions. Anything before we go?
No, thanks for having me. That's all.
All right, man. Well, listen, let us know. Here's one thing I can share with you. There was a final question by, where is it here? Zen Solipsist writes, one of our Patreon members. Since you and Paul have clearly demonstrated how ageless you are on camera, there you go.
Thank you.
Why not more face cam during your own streams, which you've asked about? Also, would you be willing to come back and play more games with Paul? You'd be a great return guest, and we'd literally always be glad to have you. So if there is ever a game that you'd like to hop on and just have fun playing with me, I'd love to have you sometime.
What do you think about that? That's a good idea.
Yeah, let's think of something that might be a good thing. Usually it's me and Daniel guiding me through, because I tend to be... I'm not the best gamer. My gamer logic is not the greatest. Tori turns out to be amazing, but maybe you can talk me through something.
I never claim to be an expert.
Well, anyways, we can talk about that at a later date. But again, thanks for your time, Noah. I appreciate it, and we look forward to your next project.
Thanks everyone in the chat.
All right, take care, bud. Take care.
Be nice.
All right, everyone. Let me get to here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you to Daniel. Is it Daniel?
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for moderating. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, thanks all. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for the contributions. And please remember to join us on Patreon if you can. Please subscribe. We would love to get some more of your subscriptions to kind of get the word out about us. I think that because
you've got a link in the description, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, Noah has actually, because I will say this, Noah, that because of you, we very quickly gathered about 1,000 more subscribers. So thank you for that. Your reach has helped broaden our scope, and let's see if we can get some more. So, all right, guys, have a good one. We're gonna take off now. Take it easy. So long. All
right, I'll be in touch.
All right, take care. Bye. That was fun.